When people talk about celebrities, all they ever see are the spotlights, the fame, and flawless faces frozen in perfection. But what the public never sees is the silent pressure behind that beauty, a ruthless, non-stop race against time and appearance. In this world, falling even one step behind can mean being erased, forgotten, or pushed out of the industry entirely. For them, a face isn't just about beauty. It's survival. It's the key to staying on camera, landing contracts, and hearing your name called again. And that's exactly why so many have turned to drastic, life-altering facial surgeries. The stories you're about to hear pull back the curtain on the shocking decisions behind facial transformations made by 21 Black celebrities, exposing the raw truths an industry built on illusion never wants you to see. Patti LaBelle once stood at a crossroads where talent alone was no longer enough to decide her fate on stage. Known as one of the most legendary voices in American music, she had already captivated millions with her raw emotion, powerhouse vocals, and electrifying performances. From her early days with Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells to her rise as a solo superstar, she was celebrated as a symbol of resilience, individuality, and rare staying power in an unforgiving industry. But when the spotlight shifted, so did the rules. After her original group dissolved, Patti found herself carrying the full weight of her career alone. It was during this time that the music industry began to judge her not just by her voice, but by her appearance. Under harsh studio lights and relentless camera lenses, every detail of her face was scrutinized. Her wide, distinctive nose, once a defining feature of her identity, was suddenly labeled a flaw. Managers and industry insiders repeatedly raised concerns about her image, quietly but persistently pressuring her to change in order to fit television standards of the era. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, as her solo career stood at a critical turning point, Patti LaBelle made a life-altering decision. She underwent a cosmetic procedure in New York, a relatively brief surgery focused on reshaping the cartilage and narrowing her nostrils without extreme alteration. Few people realized there was more behind the choice than appearance alone. Her natural nose structure had made breath control difficult, especially during long, demanding high notes. For a singer whose voice was her lifeline, that struggle weighed heavily on her mind. When Patti emerged from surgery, the change was subtle but noticeable. Her face appeared more balanced under the stage lights, yet she still looked unmistakably like herself. That renewed confidence translated directly to her performances. She returned to major stages and television appearances with undeniable power, delivering unforgettable hits with the fierce energy and command that defined her legacy. Years later, however, Patti reflected on that decision with honesty and vulnerability. In a 2015 interview with Essence, she admitted that she missed her old nose deeply. It had been unique, natural, and unmistakably hers, a signature she wished she had kept. Still, that choice helped secure her place during a pivotal moment in her career, allowing her to withstand industry pressure and claim an unshakable position in music history. In the end, Patti LaBelle's journey is not just about change, it's about the price of survival in the spotlight and the strength it takes to remain legendary even when part of yourself is left behind. Sammy Davis Jr. wasn't just a performer, he was a phenomenon. A man of rare charisma who could sing, dance, act, and command a stage like few others in American history. As a core member of the Rat Pack, he embodied the glamour of Las Vegas, fast nights, bright lights, and a life that left no room for weakness or vulnerability. But everything changed on the night of November 19, 1954. After a long, exhausting show, Sammy was driving his Cadillac along Route 66 near San Bernardino, California. Fatigue weighed heavily on him. The relentless pace of the Rat Pack had drained his stamina. Then, in a split second, disaster struck. Another car suddenly backed onto the road. Sammy lost control. The collision happened in a flash. His head slammed violently into the steering wheel horn. The impact was devastating. His left eye was completely shattered, and the searing pain ripped him out of consciousness. Paramedics rushed Sammy to Community Hospital in San Bernardino, where doctors fought to save his life. In the operating room, time was critical. Dr. Frederick Hall made the impossible call. The eye had to be removed to preserve Sammy's life and the structure of his face. The surgery was urgent, tense, and unforgiving. When Sammy Davis Jr. woke up, nothing was the same. An artificial socket was placed to prepare for a prosthetic eye, and the face fans had adored for years was suddenly altered overnight. In the early months, Sammy appeared in public wearing an eye patch, an image that stunned the entertainment world. Whispers spread quickly. Was his career over? In an era obsessed with image, a star losing an eye felt like the end. Weeks later, he was fitted with a plastic prosthetic eye, often mistakenly called a glass eye. But adapting was brutally difficult. His vision was permanently altered. His balance felt wrong. Every movement on stage had to be relearned from the beginning. Yet Sammy didn't disappear. Instead, he fought his way back. He learned to live with the prosthetic eye, abandoned the patch, and returned to the stage alongside the Rat Pack, delivering performances so powerful they left audiences stunned. But the accident didn't just change his face. It shook his soul. In the aftermath of the crash, Sammy Davis Jr. converted to Judaism, seeing the Route 66 accident as a moment of destiny. In later years, he often referred to it as a cruel miracle, a tragedy that forced him through fear, reshaped his faith, and strengthened his resolve. Nothing was ever the same again. But Sammy Davis Jr. kept living for the stage, proving that even after everything is taken from you, greatness can still rise, stronger than before. Tina Turner, the undisputed queen of rock and roll. On stage, she was pure fire, explosive energy, a raw, raspy voice, and a stamina few performers in history could rival. Her solo career wasn't just a success, it was one of the greatest comeback stories music has ever known, transforming Tina Turner into a global symbol of resilience, survival, and freedom. But behind the blinding lights and roaring crowds was a body that had endured years of brutal damage. From the early 1960s until 1976, during her violent marriage to Ike Turner, Tina's face became a repeated target. Fists, sticks, anything within reach. Her nose was broken at least 2, possibly 3 times. The cartilage was severely damaged, leaving her in constant pain. Every performance became an endurance test. Blood would sometimes start flowing mid-song. Her sinuses were blocked. Headaches became a permanent companion. Yet Tina stayed silent. She kept performing. She kept touring. She smiled for the cameras and pushed through the pain so her fans would never know what she was enduring behind the scenes. It wasn't until after her divorce in 1978 and the explosive rise of her solo career that Tina finally confronted the damage left behind. In her 1986 autobiography I, Tina, she revealed the truth about the facial injuries for the first time. Years later, in her 2005 interview with Oprah, the full weight of that story finally came into focus. In the late 1980s or early 1990s, Tina Turner quietly entered an operating room in Los Angeles. This wasn't cosmetic surgery. It was reconstruction. The procedure lasted nearly 3 hours. Surgeons used cartilage grafts taken from her ear to rebuild the bridge and tip of her nose, areas that had been shattered by years of abuse. The goal wasn't beauty. It was survival. To breathe freely again. To stop the bleeding. To end the headaches that had followed her for decades. When recovery was complete, her nose looked slightly different. But the real transformation was deeper. The pain was gone. Her breathing was steady. Her body was finally free. On the 1987 Break Every Rule tour, Tina Turner returned to the stage with renewed, almost volcanic power, belting high notes without fear, without pain, without holding back. She later said the surgery was absolutely worth it, because it didn't just repair her face, it restored her strength. In healing her body, Tina Turner completed her transformation into exactly what the world already saw. A survivor, a warrior, and the eternal queen of rock and roll. Robert Chelsea traded his entire face for a second chance at life. Today, Robert Chelsea stands as a living symbol of modern medicine and unbreakable human will. Once an ordinary man, he was thrust into the global spotlight after surviving an unimaginable tragedy, emerging as an inspiration for hope, resilience, and the power to begin again when everything is lost. It all began on August 25, 2013. A quiet church trip with his wife turned catastrophic on the 605 freeway in Santa Fe Springs, California. When their car overheated, Robert pulled over to the shoulder. Seconds later, a drunk driver slammed into them at high speed. The impact was explosive. The car burst into flames. Fire swallowed everything. Robert suffered third-degree burns over more than 60% of his body. His face absorbed the full force of the heat, skin burned away, muscles destroyed, jawbones severely damaged. He was rushed to UCI Medical Center in critical condition and slipped into a coma that lasted for months. When he finally woke up, his former life no longer existed. His face was unrecognizable. Eating was a struggle. Speaking clearly felt impossible. The accident had taken away the most basic human functions, things most people never think twice about. Over the next 6 years, Robert endured more than 30 major and minor surgeries simply to stay alive. Every operation was a gamble. None could restore his face or give him back a normal life. Hope existed, but only as a faint flicker. Then came the turning point. Robert was selected for the face transplant program at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. On July 27, 2019, a historic 16-hour surgery began. A team of 45 medical specialists, led by Dr. Bodan Pomahak, performed the first full face transplant on an African-American patient, transplanting skin, muscles, nerves, and blood vessels from a donor who gave Robert a chance to live again. Recovery was long and grueling, but slowly, the new face adapted. Robert could eat again. His speech grew clearer day by day. Sensation returned. Life returned. Instead of hiding from the world, Robert chose visibility. He stepped forward with courage, founding the Robert Chelsea Foundation to promote organ donation and raise awareness about the lives it can save. From a devastating accident to a medical miracle, Robert Chelsea became more than a survivor. He became proof that sometimes, accepting a complete transformation is exactly what allows a person to truly live again. Michael Jackson, the pop icon who didn't just reinvent music, but attempted to reinvent himself. Widely regarded as the most influential pop star the world has ever known, Michael Jackson shattered records in sales, revolutionized dance, and redefined the very idea of stage performance. At the height of his fame, he wasn't only shaping pop culture, he was drawing global attention to every visible change in his own face. By the mid-1980s, despite unimaginable success, Michael carried deep insecurities rooted in his childhood. After the release of Bad in 1987, at just 29 years old, he entered a period marked by an intense desire for total control over his appearance. Minor nose procedures had already altered his features, but it was his chin that began to trouble him most. He was determined not to resemble his father. He wanted sharper, stronger, more traditionally masculine lines, an image completely removed from the past he despised. The decision was made quietly. A chin dimple augmentation was performed. Through a small incision beneath the chin or inside the mouth, a silicone implant was placed, creating a pronounced, artificial dimple. Though the procedure itself was brief, its impact was dramatic, subtly transforming the overall balance of his face. Years later, the small scar beneath his chin would be officially confirmed in the 2009 autopsy report. Michael himself acknowledged the procedure in his 1988 autobiography, Moonwalk. Throughout the 1990s, Jackson reportedly visited Dr. Wallace Goodstein every couple of months to monitor both his facial appearance and overall health. From that point on, the sharply pointed chin and deep dimple became a defining feature, clearly distinct from the softer look of his early career. Visually, the results were striking. His face appeared more angular, more symmetrical alongside the refined nose, echoing the classic Hollywood idols he admired, such as Kirk Douglas. But this transformation came at a cost. The public began to scrutinize every detail of his appearance. Each public outing sparked new speculation. While the chin augmentation itself was considered successful, it marked the beginning of a long chain of changes, turning Michael Jackson into a symbol of perpetual transformation, where the boundary between artistic image control and personal obsession grew increasingly difficult to define. Lil Kim and the face reshaped to hide the scars. Lil Kim is one of the boldest icons in American hip-hop, a woman who shattered boundaries in image, lyrics, and attitude when few dared to follow. With chart-dominating hits and an unapologetic presence, she rose to rap queen status on pure grit, confidence, and an unmistakable edge. But behind that fearless exterior was a long, hidden chapter of pain, violence, and trauma few ever saw. Around 2003 to 2004, after her career had passed its first peak, Lil Kim became trapped in a series of toxic relationships. The abuse left real, visible damage. A broken nose, injured cheeks, a body marked by violence, and a spirit worn down day after day. She wasn't just fighting the pressure of fame, she was battling deep insecurity. The face the world once recognized became something she avoided seeing in the mirror. Her first decision to undergo surgery wasn't about vanity. It was about survival. Her broken nose needed reconstruction. Her facial structure needed stabilization just to live normally. But once the doors of the operating room opened, a chain reaction began, one that would stretch on for years. After the initial nose repair, Kim went on to have cheek and chin implants. Artificial materials reshaped her features, higher cheekbones, a sharper jawline, a more pointed chin. Slowly, a new face emerged, colder, tougher, more armored. It matched the hardened rap queen image she felt she had to maintain in public. In a 2005 interview with Angie Martinez, Lil Kim openly admitted that her nose had been broken as a result of abuse. Later, experts analyzing before and after photos noted that the procedures didn't stop there. The surgeries continued well into the 2010s, each one pushing her appearance further from the Lil Kim fans once knew. The transformation was undeniable. High cheekbones, a slim, sculpted nose, a sharply defined chin. On stage, she appeared more confident than ever, commanding, controlled, and unbreakable. But the dramatic change also ignited intense controversy and public scrutiny. For Lil Kim, this new face wasn't just about looks. It was armor, a shield to conceal old wounds, and a permanent reminder of the hidden cost of fame, trauma, and toxic love etched forever into her reflection. Toya Jackson, reshaping a face to escape a family shadow. For decades, Toya Jackson has been a familiar name, singer, television personality, and one of the most recognizable members of the legendary Jackson family. Born into one of the most powerful musical dynasties in history, she spent years trying to carve out a solo identity beyond the overwhelming fame they shared. But finding her own place came with intense pressure, especially in a family where every feature, every expression, was endlessly compared. By the late 1980s, as her solo career struggled to find steady ground, Toya's appearance began to change. This was a period when she was everywhere, on television, on stage, in tabloids and talk shows. Standing out was no longer optional, it was survival. In a family obsessed with image, keeping the same face no longer felt safe. Influenced heavily by her siblings, particularly Michael, cosmetic enhancement had become normalized in her world. Toya sought a slimmer, more angular look, believing it would help her command confidence on stage without leaning on the family name. The earliest procedures focused on her chin and cheeks. Silicone implants sharpened her jawline and elevated her cheekbones, creating a more sculpted, camera-ready face. Several nasal refinements followed, carefully balancing her features with the new lower facial structure. Later, aesthetic specialists analyzing before and after images noted changes that went beyond surface alterations, suggesting shifts in the underlying facial framework. As the 1990s arrived, Toya's transformation became unmistakable. The soft, rounded face of her early years gradually evolved into a sharp, heart-shaped silhouette, high cheekbones, a pointed chin, and a slim nose that reflected the era's beauty ideals. Under studio lights, the look appeared polished and controlled, and she re-emerged with greater confidence across television and entertainment circuits. Yet the transformation came at a cost. Public comparisons to Michael intensified, blurring the line between self-reinvention and losing individuality altogether. Still, this series of changes marked a turning point. It was the moment Toya Jackson decisively broke from her former image, willing to reshape herself in order to survive, stand alone, and claim her place in a family where every name lives under relentless scrutiny. Janet Jackson. Long before she ruled pop music, Janet Jackson made a quiet decision in her teens that would subtly help reshape her destiny. Today, Janet Jackson stands as one of the most influential female artists in modern pop history, an innovator who built her own era through music, choreography, and unmistakable stage presence. But her journey didn't begin with power and control. It began under bright studio lights, strict family supervision, and the immense shadow of the Jackson name. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, around the age of 16, Janet found herself at a defining crossroads. She was no longer the cute child actor audiences remembered, yet she wasn't fully recognized as an adult artist. Every detail of her appearance was scrutinized. Every comparison felt unavoidable. Her naturally wide nose became a point of fixation, especially on camera, where balance and symmetry were mercilessly judged in an industry obsessed with image. Amid that pressure, Janet made a deeply personal choice. Quietly, almost secretly, she underwent a subtle nose reshaping. The procedure focused on refining the cartilage, narrowing the bridge and nostrils. Nothing extreme, nothing flashy. Just enough to feel different. Just enough to feel like hers. The decision was so private that even her family didn't know until afterward, a reflection of how little voice she felt she had at the time. Years later, Janet openly acknowledged that the change came from long-standing insecurity, not fashion or trends. It was an early act of self-assertion, a young woman trying to step out from an overwhelming legacy and claim ownership of her identity. As she entered adulthood, that newfound confidence showed. Her features appeared more balanced on stage, her expressions sharper, her presence stronger, perfectly matching the explosive choreography and high-intensity performances that would soon define her career. The shift wasn't just physical, it was psychological. Then came 1986. Control was released, and everything changed. Janet Jackson emerged not as a Jackson sibling, but as a fully independent artist, commanding her image, her sound, and her narrative. That refined nose wasn't just a cosmetic adjustment. It became a quiet marker of growth, a turning point where a teenage girl began her transformation into a woman in control. From that moment forward, every appearance carried confidence, intention, and the unmistakable grit of a true star. Sandra, Pepa, Denton was never just another rapper, she was a pioneer. As one of the few women who helped lay the foundation of American hip-hop, Pepa became a symbol of boldness, confidence, and fearless individuality. As a core member of the legendary group Salt-N-Pepa, she dominated charts, shattered stereotypes about women in rap, and left an unforgettable mark on both the stage and television screens. But by 2007, Pepa was standing at the edge of a new chapter. Salt-N-Pepa was preparing for a highly anticipated return to the spotlight with VH1's reality series The Salt-N-Pepa Show. The cameras were rolling, expectations were high, and the pressure to look flawless was stronger than ever. This comeback wasn't just about the music, it was about image. Pepa made a bold decision to refresh herself, not only artistically, but physically. She chose to undergo a nose lift, a calculated move meant to enhance her confidence for a very public return. The procedure reshaped her nose by narrowing the tip and creating a higher, slimmer bridge. Subtle changes, yet impossible to miss on camera. Before, her natural, strong features were closely tied to her raw, street-bred rapper identity. After the transformation, her face appeared more refined and camera-ready, perfectly suited for studio lighting and close-up shots. Pepa didn't shy away from the truth. She openly admitted the surgery, allowing the transformation to unfold publicly despite endless gossip and scrutiny. Fans and critics alike dissected every frame, comparing the before and after. Some praised her updated look, saying it made her appear more modern and self-assured in an era dominated by visual media. Others questioned whether it was simply the cost of returning to fame in a time when image mattered more than ever. But one thing was undeniable: Pepa stepped back into the spotlight renewed. Her look had changed, but her fire hadn't. The confidence, the energy, the unmistakable personality were still there. With a familiar yet refreshed image, Salt and Pepa's comeback captured both longtime fans and a new generation, proving that evolution doesn't erase identity, it can amplify it. NeNe Leakes is one of reality TV's most unforgettable faces. Rising to fame on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, her bold personality, sharp tongue, and commanding presence made her the center of every scene and opened doors to acting, business, and lasting stardom. But as fame intensified, so did the pressure. By 2010, constant close-ups and relentless commentary shifted focus from her talent to her appearance, especially her nose. With her career accelerating and no room for perceived flaws, NeNe chose cosmetic surgery, undergoing a 3-hour procedure to narrow her nostrils and raise the bridge for sharper definition on camera. The change was noticeable, but the scrutiny never stopped. In 2016, she returned for a second refinement, this time openly sharing the process on the show and social media, confronting the harsh beauty standards celebrities face. The result was a sleeker profile and renewed confidence. In later seasons, NeNe appeared stronger than ever, fully owning her status as reality TV royalty, while her journey quietly revealed the real cost of fame, where every spotlight exposes not just success, but every single detail. Toni Braxton, the ballad diva with a rare, smoky contralto, rose to superstardom in the early 90s, dominating charts, winning major awards, and cementing her place as a music icon. But behind the spotlight, she faced a quiet struggle few knew about. Her natural nose structure made breathing difficult, especially during long, powerful notes, threatening her performance at the very peak of her rise. Between the success of her debut and the release of Secrets, Toni made a private but pivotal decision: corrective nasal surgery in Los Angeles. There was no publicity, no spectacle, just a careful reshaping to improve airflow while preserving her natural look. The result was transformative. Her breathing stabilized, her voice grew stronger on stage, and her appearance took on a refined elegance that matched her image. Years later, she revealed the truth on Braxton family values. It wasn't about vanity, it was about survival. That quiet choice marked a turning point, allowing Toni Braxton to endure, evolve, and stand tall in one of music's toughest industries. Tyra Banks, the supermodel who reshaped her destiny at the edge of greatness. Rising from the unforgiving Paris runways of the early 1990s, Tyra entered a world where perfection was non-negotiable. Every angle was scrutinized, every flaw amplified under brutal lights. At the same time, she struggled with breathing issues caused by a congenital deviated septum and sensed her features weren't fully balanced for close-up work. Facing a make-or-break moment in her career, Tyra made a careful, deliberate choice to undergo corrective surgery in the US, refining bone and cartilage while preserving her natural look. The results were immediate: easier breathing, sharper balance on camera, and a surge of confidence. Tyra later revealed the decision openly in her 1998 book Tyra's Beauty, Inside and Out, breaking fashion silence with rare honesty. From that turning point, she didn't just conquer the runway, she built an empire, becoming a television icon and an inspiration to an entire generation of aspiring models. Tamar Braxton, the Braxton family's boldest voice, rose to fame as a reality TV standout with undeniable star power and solo music ambitions. Around 2012 to 2013, as Braxton family values captured every unfiltered moment, Tamar faced intense pressure. Fame grew fast, comparisons hit hard, even within her own family, and the stress of preparing a solo album only added fuel. On top of it all, a congenital lack of nasal cartilage caused daily discomfort and softened her features under harsh studio lights. Surgery became inevitable. Tamar chose a Los Angeles specialist to reconstruct her nose, rebuilding the bridge and refining the tip. The transformation unfolded publicly, from recovery to reveal, across TV and social media. As her look sharpened, so did her confidence. The change wasn't just cosmetic, it marked a turning point, helping Tamar step out of her family's shadow and claim the spotlight under her own name. Blac Chyna built her image to dominate social media. Rising from a chaotic entertainment scene, she quickly became a familiar face on Instagram, reality TV, and later a powerful model-turned-entrepreneur. Between 2014 and 2016, as her name flooded headlines and feeds, she underwent a dramatic image transformation. Moving from dancer to digital sex symbol, her look evolved to match the unforgiving spotlight, sharp angles, a sculpted jawline, and striking cheekbones designed to stand out on camera. Multiple filler treatments, jaw and cheek enhancements, and neck lipo in Los Angeles reshaped her face into a bold V-line aesthetic, all unfolding publicly on Blac Chyna. The visual impact was immediate, followers surged and recognition exploded. But after 2022, Blac Chyna began reversing many of these procedures, choosing balance over excess. In hindsight, the implant era wasn't just cosmetic, it was a strategic launchpad to fame, one she eventually outgrew to reclaim control of her image more naturally. Cardi B is a global rap force, known for her fiery style, chart-smashing hits, and social media presence that dominates every platform. In 2021, shortly after giving birth to her second child, she was juggling new motherhood and an unforgiving music schedule. Her body changed quickly, and her face did too. Fans noticed it immediately. Her nose looked swollen, the bridge appeared lower, and the tip wider in selfies and behind-the-scenes clips. With cameras rolling and a comeback looming, the pressure was intense. That's when Cardi made a decision. She turned to a top Miami cosmetic surgeon for a subtle nose procedure, refining the tip, reshaping the bridge, and making light cartilage adjustments to keep it natural. The 3-hour surgery and recovery were shared openly with fans through Instagram Live and interviews. As the swelling faded, her features sharpened and her confidence came roaring back. The transformation helped Cardi reclaim control of her image, step back into the spotlight stronger than ever, and prove once again she's a female rap powerhouse who isn't afraid to change and own it. Rowland was the core voice of Destiny's Child, but stepping out of that shadow came at a cost. As a solo artist with hit albums and constant appearances on major stages and television, every spotlight became unforgiving. Between 2008 and 2010, standing alone meant relentless comparisons, especially about her looks. High-definition lights and camera lenses magnified what critics called an imbalanced face. A wide bridge, a short chin. The pressure was silent but crushing. In Los Angeles, she made a carefully measured decision. The surgery was subtle, slightly narrowed nostrils, a refined bridge, and a small chin implant to extend her facial lines. Nothing drastic, just precision. When the change gradually appeared, her profile looked sharper, her presence more balanced on stage. Kelly later admitted the transformation gave her confidence, helping her fully claim her solo identity with Miss Kelly, no longer living in Destiny's Child's shadow, but standing firmly in her own light. Oprah Winfrey's quiet transformation unfolded behind the rise of a television empire. As America's most powerful talk show host, she dominated media and pop culture for decades, but that influence came with relentless scrutiny. In the late 1980s, as her show went national, every camera angle mattered. Moving from local news to non-stop studio lights, her naturally wide nose became more pronounced on screen. Rather than dramatic change, Oprah chose subtlety. From the late 80s through the early 2000s, she reportedly underwent a series of minor refinements, small cartilage adjustments to gently narrow the bridge and nostrils in Chicago and Los Angeles. Each change was so minimal it escaped immediate notice. Yet, seen over time, the evolution is clear, a more refined, sharper face that reinforced her image, calm, commanding, and powerful enough to lead a media empire. Halle Berry didn't just rise to the top of Hollywood, she refined herself on the way there. Emerging from the modeling world, she broke through with raw, fearless performances, maintaining A-list status and ultimately making history with an Oscar. But as her face filled bigger screens from the early 90s to the early 2000s, a subtle transformation unfolded. Her roles grew heavier, the close-ups tighter, and the pressure of image more unforgiving. Industry watchers noted quiet, understated refinements, small enough to preserve her identity, precise enough to sharpen her presence on camera. Compared to her boomerang era, the later Halle appeared more sculpted, more commanding. That evolution coincided with her move into powerful dramatic roles, culminating in her 2002 Oscar win. From that moment on, Halle Berry's fierce, unbreakable screen image felt complete, as if every piece finally clicked into place. Vanessa Williams burst into the spotlight as Miss America, then swiftly conquered music and television, one of the few stars to stay relevant for decades. But almost immediately after her 1984 win, controversy struck. Between 1985 and 1990, under intense pressure following the nude photo scandal, Vanessa quietly reinvented herself behind the scenes in New York operating rooms. Subtle facial refinements, most notably a narrower nose with a sharper bridge, were carefully done over time, never drastic, just enough to command the camera. Fans noticed the change after her debut album, a more polished, mature, and determined presence. With her confidence restored, her voice grew stronger, her roles deeper. By the time Save the Best for Last dominated the charts, Vanessa's new image had become her armor, helping her rise above judgment and secure her place as a lasting star. Queen Latifah is one of the rare hip-hop icons who didn't just cross over, she conquered Hollywood. Rising from rap royalty to powerful film performances, her journey peaked with a prestigious Oscar nomination. But that transition wasn't effortless. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, as she stepped away from music and into films like Set It Off, the unforgiving camera revealed what music never did. Studio lights magnified every facial line, and close-ups softened the sharpness directors wanted on screen. Quietly, a subtle change was made in Los Angeles. Minor refinements to the nose, narrowing the tip and balancing the bridge. Nothing drastic, just enough to transform her on-camera presence. Compare her early rap-era photos to her later roles and the shift is undeniable. A cleaner frame, a stronger gaze, a steadier confidence before the lens. From there, the roles grew heavier, the acclaim louder. By 2003, her Oscar nomination for Chicago sealed her evolution, from streetwise rapper to commanding film star, shaped in part by a small but decisive turning point. Beyoncé. Behind the global superstardom was a series of quiet, almost invisible transformations. Rising from Destiny's Child to become one of the most powerful solo artists of all time, Beyoncé didn't just dominate music, she mastered image, timing, and perception. Between the late 1990s and early 2000s, as cameras closed in and expectations soared, subtle changes began to appear. Nothing drastic, just small, carefully timed refinements. Her nose gradually became more sculpted, the nostrils slightly reduced, the tip refined, soft adjustments reportedly done over time in Houston or Los Angeles. No shock moments, just quiet evolution. With every performance and music video, her features looked sharper, more balanced, more camera-perfect. By the release of Dangerously in Love, the transformation was complete. Flawless close-ups, commanding presence, and a star aura impossible to ignore. It may have been only one piece of a massive success machine, but it helped shape the cool, powerful icon the world knows today. Because in Hollywood, a changing face isn't just about beauty, it reflects pressure, expectation, and very human insecurity beneath the spotlight. What do you think about these transformations? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications as we continue uncovering the rarely discussed truths behind celebrity fame.